All right, guys, welcome back into Netolic Pro League 4th edition. My name is Ever, joined alongside by ProveAttitude for Game 2. Life versus EG, switching sides. Life, this time on the Radiant EG. Dire Side Troll Warlord, yet again, immediately ban out. And we'll see if bans are more of the same, letting heroes that are extremely powerful get through, like the Bat Rider and the Naga. No fear, though, out of the EG squad, just taking the Bat, making good work. MSS had a good middle. Synderen really didn't have that bad of a game, in all honesty. Just couldn't do anything to Jo on the Luna. And we'll see how Life looks to respond in a pivotal game 2. Ban going out on OD.
Synderen landed most of his hook shots. They are all really good initiations, but like you said, Jo just spiraled out of control very early into the game, and after that, it was very difficult for Life to be able to deal with that. So EG takes game 1. This is a best of 3 though, so Life still has a chance here to force a game 3 out of EG, and Life is a very solid team. Despite playing with 2 stand-ins right now, I think they're going to be alright. I think they should be able to at least take one more game over EG and force a 3rd game. I'm hoping so. I want to see 3 games. How about you?
I always want to see 3 games. It gives us less of a break in between as well for Speed and Dignitas coming up next.
Yeah.
And realistically, it's not even about that. I like seeing good Dota played, and really it's been a while since I've cast the European scene, so this is really refreshing. The last time I had the opportunity to was Life winning Netolic Pro League 3. So even better teams this time around, EG pushing them to the edge and not having a good start to their new roster change over things like EMS, and showing why they are still capable with this exact roster to compete on an international level. This is much needed for them.
I would like to see a troll picked up in a game. It's not going to happen this game, obviously, but I would like to see. I've seen a few times it's been happening. He's getting picked up, and I think he does really well. I think it's exciting because his ultimate is global, for one, and it's just absolutely awesome for either team fights or for pushing down towers, and you can use it even if you're not there. You can farm a lane and still be an aid to your ally. So really great hero all around. I'm very excited that he's getting action finally. And getting into the picking phase now, Naga Siren, Visage, last 2 bans out of there from EG and Life. And last game was really just incredibly exciting, and I felt like Life, they got locked down so much from EG because they had so many things that could go through the BKBs that you saw on the Weaver and on the bottom. You had the Bane ultimate that can go through it. You also had the Flaming Lasso that could go through it. So despite being magic immune, they still had everything that could go through it. Even ET's Earth Splitter could go through it. So the magic immunity just wasn't really in their favor throughout that whole fight, even after the BKBs were picked up, just because everything was able to go right through that. And it was just a really tough game for Live. I don't feel like they got outdrafted per se. I just feel like Evil Geniuses played at the top of their game.
And look at the Elder Titan pickup immediately. I think they were debating whether or not they wanted to go for that or the Bat Rider. The last time, EG did not pick up Bat until the 2nd pick. So they picked up Elder into Bat, which seemed a bit out of control for Life to let happen. They picked up Naga. I thought they should have picked up the Bat Rider, but instead they let it go. And again, they are letting it go, this time for good cause, only having 1 pick immediately. And Io and Bat both picked up for EG. Gonna see who synergizes with that. Have to imagine a respect ban of a CK or something of the sort will come from the Life squad here in the 2nd phase immediately following this pick. Could potentially pick up their mid lane right now, or just the support. A lot of good support still left in the pool.
You have these next 2 bans that are going to come up, and like you said, you're going to see some sort of ban, 1 or 2 bans come out to stop that IO from comboing with somebody who's really incredibly strong. CK, definitely a possibility. You also have Ursa, who's a possibility. You have Sven, who fell out of favor, but still in the pool and available to be picked up here. So there's still a lot. Those 2 bans aren't going to completely wipe out any chances that EG has to pick up somebody else. They knew they wanted the Bat Rider, and I think that's a solid pickup for the 2nd pick.
I think the reason why we haven't seen the Sven pick is just because when you touch percentages, that is the scariest nerf and buff to ever see on a hero. So if you guys ever see some damage nerfed by a percentage, just know it means their late game potential is dramatically either increased or reduced, or even early game case not having a lot in the way of HP. So I don't imagine we'll see him for some time, and it is going to be support in the form of a Nyx Assassin. One hero I wish people were more rehearsed in that Fnatic often plays against the Batrider to get teammates out of the lasso is vengeful. So why not pick up a VS to swap immediately out of that lasso? It's just, to me, seems too good. VS provides so much utility in getting people out of horrible, horrible situations. And it's not that it just is a play from behind hero where you swap yourself out of bad situations. Batrider can basically have his pick of the lot. Doesn't matter what you do, unless you grab something like a Rubik lift immediately on him and kill him, your hero is still lassoed, as where Venge just snaps it and makes it null and void. So to me, that's a good trade instead of whoever you have lassoed.
Yeah, it's a VS. I mean, she's an expendable hero, and it's not like VS isn't strong in other points of the game. She has a lot of utility with that swap, like you mentioned, as well as a solid just single target stun. I mean, you can't say that that's not a good thing to have in a tri lane or have as a roaming gank. So it is solid all around. You do see VS every once in a while, but isn't really a heavily favored hero. But I would agree with you that I think that would be pretty decent to go up against this Batrider. The thing with Evil Geniuses so far is that you have a lot of mobility already on their team. With that Batrider who's going to be able to get the Blink Dagger pretty early and then follow up with the Force Staff. And then you have the Io who's going to be able to just relocate whoever he wants around the map. There's that CK ban out like you were mentioning. So CK not going to be able to combo with Io this game for EG. Nyx and Elder Titan does give life a little bit of disruption with that Elder Titan and mobility with the Nyx. So hopefully able to disrupt these team fights and pick somebody off on that Nyx really early on. Someone like Io, I feel like Nyx is a pretty good counter to Io because Io, he's going to be hanging back. He's not going to be deep in the fray, but he's going to be close enough so that he can keep a tether onto his ally. So Nyx is great at that because he sneaks around the back and he can hopefully try and pick Io off very quickly, because when you have a combo like that, you don't want to focus the carry. You want to focus the Io. Once that Io is out of the fight, you're going to be able to focus that carry a lot easier. And even Nyx is getting banned out here. And that's a good ban as well, because when you have a combo with Io and another hero, and then you have Nyx as well, that's 3 heroes that can teleport anywhere on the map with that Nyx bomb. So I appreciate and respect the bans that Life did with that CK and with that Nyx.
I'm okay with the Nyx bomb. I don't think it would have happened here so much. It could load up in the Batrider, but normally it's a Storm Spirit combination that we see. I think we're leaning more towards an Alchemist pickup this time around. The middle is going to be subjected. With Sin playing, I'm really unfamiliar with what heroes that he's comfortable in taking in the mid, though I imagine it's a wide array. Very well versed in his knowledge pool. But his play pool, I just wonder if it's that in the same.
Yeah, not too sure, honestly. Chen is going to get nixed out of the pool here, courtesy of EG. Weaver also not going to get any play. Life ran with the Weaver last game. Didn't really pan out for them too well. He had decent items, but he didn't really snowball like the Luna did. So Evil Geniuses, realizing that they don't really want to deal with that. Even though they were able to beat it, they just don't want to deal with it. He was split pushing lanes. He had the Desolator. They couldn't kill him. It was just annoying, to say the least. So getting rid of that Weaver is a fine choice out of them. And now we get into the picks. And are we going to see this Wisp combo pick up right now? Or are we not? Alchemist?
Yeah, they had to. Otherwise, it would have gone to Life, I think, right there. And they knew better. So it's going to have to be a Gyrocopter then. Out of Life, it's not going to be bad to do something to that effect. With Weaver ban out, though, is CK, Nyx, there's not much else left in options. And if they don't go for it, you might even see EG move that into an aggressive try. I don't think it's smart with Wisp, but it's always a potential threat. So they're going to have to be hasty in their draft to pick up a carry. It just means that they shouldn't delay any longer than these next 2 particular picks. Still needing to line up a decent middle. And it's actually going to be the Rubik, even though there's not much in terms of what you can steal here, in my opinion. It's a good combination between things. They just need to lift the Batrider. I think it's Telekinesis Batrider. It's got to be the only reason. The Chen ban is because there's 2 really, really good Chen players in this game right now.
On top of that, the Fade Bolt is going to be fairly effective against Alchemist. He's still going to have the attack speed, but at least you're going to minus on that damage, and that's going to help a little bit. But yeah, the Rubik Nyx combo is just absolutely brutal. Very infamous combo with those 2. Regardless of who you pick up as a third, that's already a strong tri lane because you have so much setup there that it's very hard to be able to really deal with that. And an Alchemist, we'll see if he's going to be going up against that. More than likely, he will be going up against whoever the solo is for Life, which looks to be the Elder Titan at this point. So It's looking decent so far. Teams are really taking their time here, dropping down into the seconds, the mere seconds that are left for EG. So really thinking this draft through. And Juggernaut is picked up. This is a hero that does not get too much action.
It's got to be then that Alchemist can take wherever he'd like to farm. Even if they move Jug into a support-esque role, it's going to be interesting to see how much damage potentially this Jug could put out. In this lineup, is it have to be race car build? Because that would be fun, but I think that's almost the only way to go. Should be able to chase down anyone they so desire to, and not going to be able to lock him at all. Like, it's a very magic intense lineup, and ET is not going to be able to harass a Jug whilst in that magic immunity form. Going to be able to get out of a lot more situations, and it's a Shadow Fiend that we'll see get picked up here. Not sure if it's middle side yet, but could potentially 1v1 the Bat.
Yeah, that is still up in the air. You can put him middle, you can put him in the tri-lane so he's a little safer with that Nyx and the Rubik. And we'll see what the lineup ends up being for EG. I feel like right now it's kind of a mystery on what you're going to do with the Alchemist and the Juggernaut picked up. You can always put the Bat Raider in the off lane, put somebody else mid, but if Shadow Fiend's going to be mid, that's going to be a hard lane. Shadow Fiend is going to right-click you out of the lane, raise you out of the lane. He's very hard to compete against, but he can get ganked pretty easily. But who on this team is going to be able to gank in the early stages of the game? Once you get IO level 6, yes, he can be ganked, but before that, there's not really a huge amount of roaming that's going to be going on for EG. So Shadow Fiend might just have a pretty decent game, even being in that middle lane, so you could potentially put him there and feel like he's going to be fairly safe.
10 seconds remaining.
Mirana ban, to me, is a little bit confusing, but Shadow Fiend mid lane, I don't think is safe harbor against a Bat. It's just too much damage early on, and if you get behind, you're not going to catch up. I almost think it has to be a tri-lane here with something intriguing out of middle, and they will elect to ban out the second jungle hero, knowing EG needs a secondary support. We'll see exactly what shuffle occurs with Alchemist getting grabbed. I imagine it's going to be Alchemist farming out the safe lane against ET. Alchemist is not that great doing it early on, but still is able to avoid a lot of the auto attacks. So the Spirit Harass will come down, but once he's level 6, and he will be level 6 quickly, he can pop up that ultimate, regen his health, nothing becomes an issue, and he's going to be able to throw some harassment back of his own. And EG going with the Clockwork, and Clockwork should take on then a support role unless we see Juggernaut up in the fray, kind of taking the farm. Clockwork support. This is going to be a very, very interesting offensive lane. There's so much that could potentially happen between cogs and the synergies of a spinning Juggernaut, IO tether lockdowns. There's a lot that is going to be going on in these team fights that positioning will become very pivotal for life to adhere to.
Yeah, I don't know how the laning is going to work out for EG. It's definitely interesting, and I'm excited to see how it pans out, but I'm not sure. And Shadow Demon is that last pickup. Shadow Demon, a hero that used to be picked up early in the draft, now picked up last and wasn't even thought of about getting banned out in the banning phase. So Shadow Demon. So how is this going to lane, though? Are you putting the Nyx mid, it looks like, maybe? Or do you do an aggressive try with Shadow Demon, Nyx, and Rubik?
I'm pretty sure you farm the Shadow Demon safely with Rubik and Shadow Demon and then put Nyx mid. I don't know what other way to spin it unless you rotate up the ET, but ET is fine where he's at. There's so much damage from his EG squad. This is scary. Shadow Fiend, a lot is riding on his shoulders. And life is going to have to really get Shadow Fiend snowballing. If they do not, that's game within the first, we'll know within the first 15 to 20 minutes.
Totally agree.
What they can do.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Shadow Fiend, he's good in the early and mid game. You've got to get that farm on him, but late game, he's gonna fall off against Juggernaut, Alchemist. I feel like he's just really gonna fall off. And like you said, unless Link just has an absolutely amazing best game of his life, I feel like EG is going to be able to take this. But we are in the game now, you guys, live on the Radiant side. Rise, that's gonna be your stand-in. That's gonna be your captain. He's gonna be playing the Shadow Demon. Ace will be on that Elder Titan. Mid lane looks to be Cinderin once again. He's gonna be playing Nyx this game. Crit will be on support of Rubik down there, hanging out with his buddy Link. That's gonna be on your Shadow Fiend.
And for the Evil Geniuses squad, Fear on Juggernaut, Fogged on the IO, JO, Alchemist, MSS, Clockwork, and Universe, Batrider. Universe going to be off-laning Bat, Clock, mid with MSS, and it's going to be Fear supporting on the Juggernaut to JO, who's the hard farm for this EG side. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays through, that's for sure.
Yeah, interesting lanes to say the least. A little bit of a switch up, and I like the kind of style that they're going with. I think it's going to be interesting. You don't normally see Jug in this kind of a role, but it's going to be okay because Jo is going to be in the lane. He's going to be getting in the creep kills. Fear is going to be able to pull this lane and get gold and experience of his own. And I think it's just going to work out just fine. Shadow Fiend on that safe lane bottom will be able to farm up quite a bit. I don't think he's going to have a rough time down there, but he has really, really got to make that farm happen. And now in mid lane, fighting over this haste rune, looks like Universe might just pick it up, does pick it up, goes straight to Rise. We'll see what he does. No points leveled up just yet. There goes the sticky napalm, but Fate levels up his disruption of his own, and this should fend Universe off, but Universe, he's adamant. Even Cinderin coming in to see if they can deal with Universe, rather. Universe backing up, laying down some harassment, but taking quite a bit of harassment of his own, already having to pop that
I almost
tango.
feel like he nullified his advantage, and Bat is just going to immediately move into the jungle, forfeit the off lane until he's got some levels, which is fine. Gives Link the time and space he needs. Like I said, we'll know very quickly how good Link is doing. He needs to snowball off this lane, and a Shadow Fiend free farming is very scary. Missing already that first lasted opportunity for him. 2 denies though. Gets souls going regardless of whatever he grabs. Cinderin, mid lane against MSS. We'll keep an eye on how it does. Already out of mana. He's not going to be able to lay down much harassment. He's just going to have to make sure he doesn't get caught out early by MSS cogs, other than pushing him away and draining the mana, which I think he's fine to trade. As long as he absorbs the experience, the money is just secondary to staying alive. And he's already gets caught up here. And that's going to be a problem for him. Going down to about half health off of 1 early cogs. And Regs will be forced out of him.
We talk so much about Link and how well he's going to be able to farm in this bottom lane, but look at top lane. You have Jo up here. He did really fine in a tri-lane last time, was able to get up quite a bit of farm despite it being a very aggressive tri-lane against Live. And now he's got just an Elder Titan and a Shadow Demon to go up against. You have 2 good supports in that IO and in that Juggernaut. If you get 1 stun on somebody, it's possibly going to be death. And now missing the first blood in the mid lane. Looks like MSS did manage to go ahead and kill through with that Cinderin kill. Got to be another cogs as it is on cooldown.
He threatened him face to face. I mean, really, he just was right there the entire time, just showing that if cogs were completely caught out, that was it. And he stayed and loses because of it. I don't know what his ping looks like, but it doesn't look decent as he keeps getting out in cogs. Either that or he's not able to maneuver himself away in time with the turn rate of Nyx's Assassin. I don't think it's that poor. I still think he should be able to possibly move through.
Juggernaut soaking up that experience and farm in the jungle, also looking to get some experience over here with Jo. The Spirit goes out for the harassment, but again, I don't feel like it's going to be doing too much. Fogged is going to be able to keep Jo alive in this lane. Look at that heals already happening out of Fogged, popping the tango. Jo has a tango of his own, so the HP just goes up incredibly fast. And Jo, again, is going to be just fine.
Ward.
Yeah, and healing ward.
Such an insane. Yeah, they're not going to be able to do anything.
And then once
shut this down.
Once Alk hits level 6, like how do you even get his HP low? He's going to have so much regen in this lane that with that Grievous Greed on top of that, he's going to be able to keep up the farm with Shadow Fiend. Despite how well Shadow Fiend will be doing, Alchemist is going to be able to get up there as well, if not better. So it's interesting to see because as this game goes late, Jo is just going to be out of control. And I don't know if Elder Titan in the team fight and Shadow Fiend with the right click damage is going to be enough.
For me, I think it's going to boil down to experience. Link is going to get the solo experience, and while Alchemist will be able to keep up because of Grievous Greed and go a relatively greedy build, if you will, we're going to see that his experience will pale in comparison to Link, so it's going to be up to Link to take a lot of early team fights and garner advantage for his team. And already you can see he's on a roll, 26 for 12, max souls at all times, pretty much every time he goes in to level this up, and already level 5 nearly just 4 minutes into this, so they're going to have to keep an eye on that, see who they can rotate through. They have a Bat to shut down this Shadow Fiend once they get going, but because Bat is in the jungle, it's going to take him, I guess, a little bit longer to get rolling. It doesn't look like it so far, but the bottle is kind of expent, so they'll need to siphon over that courier. A little bit of back and forth positioning between Sin. Sin gonna contest the rune and actually win on this occasion. MSS forced back, gonna crow his bottle.
Fear going around back, Concoction's leveled up, it's firing off, but nice disruption out of Fear, but it doesn't matter, the Blade Fury damage is too much. Fog looks to be going down here first, but no, it's gonna be Jo! Jo diving way too deep, Fear diving way too deep. Huge overextension. Whoa. There. 3 heroes down ever. That is not how you expected
showing up
this.
As well.
Yeah.
And now Sin again caught out by the battery, this time will not go, but the fact that Link just TP'd in this early and dealt that much damage is scary. Grabs, treads, immediately fights, and it pays off huge. Universe just now arriving on the lane, but is going to have a level 6 Shadow Fiend on his hands to deal with. And he is only level 4, turning 5 in a matter of moments. And now, Firefly Expend, he might just get a kill here. He's much quicker than Universe, and Universe doesn't have anything. He's just going to dive right into him and die. I don't think he realized how far behind he was.
Yeah, that's plus 40 damage at the time on Link, so those attacks hurt. They hurt pretty badly. Batrider did not know what he was in for. Top lane though, Ace, he gets Concoction once again. Fog there looking to stun out as well, but Fate with the disruption, they're going to be okay. Fogged and Alchemist, they have to back up now. The fight is no longer going in their favor. Jo on the run, has Fog there to give him move speed. Nothing happens, but meanwhile, Cinderin goes down once again to Clockwork.
I think Barry is jinxing like poor Sind with these statistics. He's like, Cinderin's got really good win rates when he is mid. Oh, he's got really good win rates on Nyx Assassin being his best hero. But that is in a support role. Funny enough that it is his best hero, not a mid role, but he's still not playing bad, just keeps managing to get caught out by Cogs, and it cost him his life yet again. There was some support there to kind of give him a hand between the Bat and himself, but didn't really need it.
Universe learning his lesson. Going to that bottom lane was definitely a mistake against that Shadow Fiend. He's like, I'm just gonna stick to the jungle. I don't want to go bottom. Bottom is definitely scary. I'm gonna at least get a few levels, and then once I have my level 6, which he does, he's gonna be able to help gank some lanes. And now MSS, he's looking to go on Ace. Ace gets caught out, stuck in the cogs, stuck with the battery assault. Alchemist charging up the stun, but it's barely needed. Jo was just there to just kind of rub it in the face of Ace. Clockwork was the main dealer in that one, coming out ahead, and now mid lane Fear is there, looking to get some experience to pop his level 6. Cinderin stunning him out. There's not going to be much that Cinderin can actually do against Fear to damage him out. 4-3 is your score right now, 7 minutes into the game, rather.
Shadow Fiend being involved in those early 3 kills gave him a jolt in terms of cash, so his capital is up there. Clock looking to stifle that momentum. Support is already here. Crit can shut down the clock, throw him away from Link if they decide for the hook. They don't see him over in the bushes there, maneuvering just before Crit showed up, and the Ogre Club is delivered. It's going to be a hard customer to take down. And maybe they'll look for a rotation here off the ports. Crit kind of pinging through, a ping coming out of Universe, and they're still just kind of going to forfeit this. Link's going to be able to raise the entire wave, and that might be a sign to go, but said MSS playing it safe. He's just going to have to sit in the trees until backup arrives. Fear moving down that way, doesn't yet have level 6. I have to imagine Link is just going to be able to eat him alive if he can get enough autos, but Link not going to be able to do anything for a moment. Instant lift, and that is away from the cogs. He's going to walk away without any sort of damage dealt to him except for the blades out of Fear, but Fear, not level 6, is in a lot of trouble now. Crit stealing the ultimate, turning it right on Fear. Huge hook to turn that one around. That was out of control.
That was awesome. Honestly, that was so cool. I was like, Clockwork just used hook. What is going on? But it's Crit with that instant reaction on the telekinesis and then stealing hook as well. Huge plays. And now Jo, he manages to dodge the Earth Splitter on the top lane. Now he's angry. He's coming in with a stun. Fate is going to be on the hit list. Fate trying to hide. Disruption not quite available. Universe is there as well to soak up this experience. But meanwhile, Elder Titan does manage to pick off Fogged, and now Ace, he's running. He's fierce for his life, but there's nothing left in the tanks of EG. They got the kill on SD. Lost the IO in the process. So unfortunate there. MSS and Synderen are looking to have a confrontation here, but both backing up.
Poor Fogged out of that engagement. I know he's gonna die a lot this game, but Elder Titan just understanding there was an advantage there. Now Universe caught out completely. Crit is just on fire. Jo throws a concoction into Ace. Doesn't have his ultimate on just yet. Turns it on. Spirit forthcoming, dealing a whole lot of damage. They're following this up. Crit trying to get a hold, hook shot through, and doesn't quite latch on. And now Jo attempts to turn on Ace. Disruption coming out, shutting down clock, but that battery assault goes on through, and therefore MSS is now on a domination streak. Crit trying to walk off, and now Synderen showing up, gonna pick off Jo in the process, and they might just have to back immediately after Crit. They will get Crit, but Synderen trying to walk away. Hook shot from MSS up the hill, cogged in. Bad Rider here to join in. Universe back from the dead. Carapace comes up for Synderen, trying to buy him time, but no ports forthcoming. Link not able to bail his team out this time around.
Yeah, I do believe it was a hook shot to the Spirit there, from what it kind of looked to be.
That's what it looked like to me. That's so unfortunate that the mechanic works like that.
Yeah, and
Ghost gets hooked.
And I don't think that's in Dota 1 as either. The Spirit is kind of iffy in how it's coded in Dota 2. It's kind of like it's actually a unit, and in Dota 1 it wasn't. It was just kind of like ethereal basically, and you couldn't really do anything with it. So kind of interesting.
Vision off of Spirit in Dota 1 because I was not there for the ET edit. Originally, I think it was he mirrored your actions, so you had to like walk away.
Yeah.
And that was when I played Dota 1. So I mean, I've been around since the beginning, but I haven't been around since the edit. Hold that thought though. Fate getting roped up. Universe getting it stolen, and Crit coming up huge yet again, lassoing the lassoer. Universe in a whole lot of trouble, not having a good game. He goes down, and now EG is on the run. Fear not able to do anything to participate in this fight. His life takes a 9-for-7 advantage. But yeah, the last time I played it was mirrored, so I don't know if it revealed vision as well.
It did reveal vision still, but yeah, it was mirrored, so it made it a little difficult because ET, if he wanted to line these up and the enemy was backing up, he had to back up as well, which means that he couldn't get in to use his Earth Splitter well enough. So having complete control over the Spirit was a huge buff to ET, and he wasn't really picked up that much in Dota 1 competitive, but now that is available to him now, it's insane how much of a buff that was to him. So great for him. And now Fear looking to go in. He does have the Omni Slash available. Crit hanging far back. Lasso is still on cooldown. I gotta say though, really great plays out of Crit so far this game. Just his response time to anything that happens is just spot on and immediate. He still spells, he does telekinesis at just the right time, so he's playing an incredible Rubik at this point. The bottom lane, or River, yeah, MSS. Very good hook, and Synderen stuck in there. He does pop the invisibility, but it doesn't matter. The dust is there, the battery assault's there, the rocket's even there. There was no way Synderen was making it out of that one. Really tough game for Synderen so far.
You know, I think it's okay. Link is making up for it. They have the BKB in a matter of moments here, almost ready to fight, just finishing it up, and there it is. Gets delivered 700G, and Fear might get caught out here. Disruption available on Fate. They ping it out. Shadow Poison to reveal a little bit more. And Ace rounds the tree line. Not able to lock it through. Crit is having such an amazing game, and so is Link. I don't think it matters for Sin and Link, all because he showed up for that early triple kill dive on top. I don't think they thought Link would show. Really, that's got to be the size of it. And now Universe able to blink off. MSS trying to play a little bit defensive. Synderen trying to get a hold. Impales immediately out of that. Now Fogged porting on through. Link lines up the ultimate. Jo in a lot of trouble, instantly half health, forced to back off the situation. Fogged is a sacrificial lamb. Fear walking immediately into 5, tries to get one kill, misses it due to the disruption, and Crit as a result lives in exchange for the life of Fate. And now Life still rolling on through like a train on this middle tower. Link dealing so much damage, plus 96 at this stage of the game. Jo cannot keep up with it. Universe looking to see if he can grab someone, has the blink up, just gonna flame break away from the tower, see what it can do, but no deny forthcoming. Alchemist self-stun, and Jo not able to get involved, only level 8 versus this Shadow Fiend who is now 3 levels ahead. And from the look, he's going more of a battle build, but he went so deep into Grievel's Greed, it's gonna be hard to sell that battle build without acid spray in your repertoire.
It has to go late game for EG at this point, and it's going to be really hard for them to get to late game. Life is really playing to their strengths with that Shadow Fiend, who's incredibly strong early on. And with the rest of the heroes, you have great team fight, you have great pickoff, and you have great initiation. So Life's draft was actually really good, and they have to keep the pressure on. And the hookshot is going to miss there, seeing Ace go to that rune to get the regen, but doesn't connect. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Life has to continue to keep the pressure up. Link is farmed up at this point, and they have to make sure that Alchemist doesn't get farmed up. So they have to keep the pressure, they have to get those early towers, and they have to force these team fights. So we'll see how they do.
He's 7.6, almost 7.7k net worth.
That's insane.
4.7. 3k lead 14 minutes in. And like mentioning his GPM, 532. At this stage, are you kidding me?
That's insane.
This is crazy. Yeah.
He is playing so well. Jayo's got his work cut out for him, to be honest with you. It's going to be tough for him to get up there. Alchemist does farm fast, but if your racks are getting pushed down, you have to TP back. You can't just sit there and farm. And that's exactly what Life is doing. They're pushing it down, they're pushing towers, and Jayo is just going to be a hurricane wrecking through your whole base.
Sometimes it's rare that teams sense these advantages, even on the professional level, and sometimes just elect to play it safe, but I think Life recognizes just how far ahead they are because of the minute count on all of these Shadow Fiend items. Shadow Fiend increasing his attack speed through the Yasha is going to deal so much more as a result with this plus 96 early on, has the additional damage he needs. And you can imagine how much more effective that'll be once he splits with Manta. EG trying to trade top tower right now for their tier 2 on bottom. MSS getting caught out. Cinderin in the right place at the right time. Not able to lock MSS down yet. Universe hops in. Looks to see if he can grab someone. Link is kind of low, but it won't matter. Universe purge up from the Shadow Fiend. Goes down. And right now it's a hero for a tower, but it's going to turn into a tier 2 quickly if they don't get back to defend. So 2 towers for 1 is not the position they want to be in. They should possibly look into defending this.
You do have the relocate available for IO to get back to this tier 2 if they need to. But the TP supports are going to go ahead and come down. Hookshot is going to stop one of the TPs, but MSS really not in a great position to do so. Yeah, you stop the TP, but at what cost? I mean, tier 2 tower on top is going to go down. There's only one defender, and it's just Rubik. So Life has kind of been forced their hand to push. I don't know, that was interesting. You stop the TPs, you get a tier 2, you trade. I guess it all works out for Life in the long run.
They just need money to get back into the game is the bottom line. Without the money, they're nothing. And it's just because Jayo lacks so much farm right now.
Yeah, that is true. And to talk more...
I mean, they can't fight at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fight that they could take at this stage that'll be good. They have good supports, as we mentioned earlier, to regen Jayo. So he should just be able to get on a roll. So if they do not shut this jungle down shortly, Jayo will be back in the game, given the time and space you're talking about.
Yep, I do definitely agree, but early on, it is definitely in Life's ball court. And now, with the Shadow Fiend, he does so much damage because with Ace leveling up his aura, you have the armor reduction and you have the resist reduction. And Shadow Fiend, he does both of those. He right-clicks like a beast, so that armor reduction comes into play. And then his raises are very powerful. They're AoE, so they can hit multiple targets, and that's going to be doing more damage as well because of that aura. And now look at the smoke up ever. Life is looking to make things happen. Gonna head to the jungle. You already see this line being drawn here out of Link. He's leading the team. He knows where Jayo must be. He's nowhere on the map. He's got to be in the jungle, and he is indeed in the jungle. And this ward here is gonna spot him out. They should be able to go right on top of him, and Jayo's there. Is anybody gonna be able to help him out? He pops the Lothars, but already the sentry ward is laid down. They knew exactly what was going to happen, so Life is just taking this game by the reins. They're going to push down the mid tower now. You've got 20 seconds on that Alchemist respawn, and EG cannot defend this.
Yeah, this is out of reach, in my opinion, for EG. We're going to finish up a Helm soon on Link, and unless they grab Link out, there's no chance. And Link, we knew by the 20-minute marker whether this was going to go well for Life.
Yep.
And it certainly did. And I like EG's draft on paper, but it takes time to get it up and rolling, especially when you give Link the free farm he needs and you're unable to contest it because you went very early into the Wisp, and Wisp, I guess, can aggressive tri-lane, but he's so easily picked off in those early tri-lanes that it's not worth it. You should defensively farm, but because of the way things happen, Link is just spiraling out of control. 544 GPM, 9K net worth, almost 10K. It's 9.9 to be direct about it, but EG will need to have a monster of a pickoff on Link in order to shut down the team fight from Life. But even then, they quite a few heroes to deal with. Elder Titan is going to have a monster of a last hit kind of coming through in that Astral Spirit, so his right-click damage is going to kind of be way up there. And they know they still can't fight it. I don't know if they should have necessarily popped the fortification there, but maybe they feel like even though this is a last tier 2 to be routed out, that they'll have to Roshan before they would like to go up the hill.
They have to let it fall. I mean, EG, they're trying to take their own towers, but now with that being fallen, they can either go for racks and force a fight, which is appearing to be what they're going to do. They are forcing EG's hand to fight them. They're forcing the TPs back. You can't split push like this. You're bound to lose a racks. You might get a few towers, but Life is pushing hard and they're pushing fast, and that is very scary for EG to have such a force knocking on their door. And going back to the drafts, you know, I kind of got to wonder, was this really the right draft for EG? The Shadow Fiend was picked up 4th, which is pretty late in the draft, so you couldn't get a lot of insight into Life kind of taking this game early. But I feel like the Juggernaut wasn't really the best pickup for this. Yes, the Healing Ward's good at pushing and it's good at team fights.
Out MSS mid lane. MSS gets locked down. Impale right into a telekinesis. And now EG in a lot of trouble. And I have to agree, Life wasn't very foretelling in their draft, but even still, I do like EG's draft. It's not bad, it's just they needed to get more of an advantage out of the Alchemist, and they had to pay too much attention in the dual lane to the Shadow Demon, and although they killed him, it didn't matter. The experience coming out of Link in that early tower dive completely shut off anything that they could have potentially done, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you have space that can be provided out of the IO, out of the CK, and out of the Batrider. But again, I feel like the movement hasn't been there because Life has stuck together from, you know, 10 minutes into this game. So it's hard to get that IO pickoff. It's hard to get that Batrider and Clockwork pickoffs. And so as a result, EG is just kind of pushed back and they are just waiting. They have all their eggs at this point, almost all their eggs into Jo. Jo has the early Shadow Blade to try and help out in these team fights, but he's got to continue trying to farm up, and it's going to be rough when EG, or rather when Life, is being this aggressive early on and everybody moving to the top lane. But already EG is backed up. Fogged and Jo should be okay unless Synderen can get a pick off here. It's actually going to be crit. Blinks in with the dagger, telekinesis in the air, rocket to boot. Really good pick off, and now Universe jumps in there with the lasso. Synderen is going to go down here. There's no way that they can save him. They have to just let that go. Small victories for EG, but very, very small.
Synderen goes down yet again in this game. 4 for 5. He's made up for it in picks on MSS, so he's gotten some revenge strikes. The split pushing down from EG is probably the best thing that they have going for them. They did take a full top lane out, trying to pressure on bottom right now. Ace all the wiser. And Ace has the Ogre Club and about 3K on his person. Are we going to see a Halberd here?
On who? Sorry? On
Ace.
An Ace? I mean, maybe.
I imagine it's just going to be good to lock down. They have a lot of lockdown elements, but what else do you go? Poured in from IOJO, going to show up. Concoction thrown forward. Ultimate from Fear. And Ace is going to get picked. However, the rest of the squad has shown up. Crit taking a lot of damage from Wisp. Jo going to be able to get away, but Fear not going to be so fortunate. Has nothing left in the tank and goes down to Link. So Link, as a result, goes on a mega kill streak. And the kill is accomplished. Universe way, way deep on this bottom lane. Has a port on his person, can get away, but possibly was looking to see if they could fight there against those three. But I don't think anyone is manly enough to take on this Shadow Fiend with an Aegis right now, under any circumstances, even if it's 3v3.
Synderen?
Now, yeah, go ahead.
He does it. He lands the stun on 2. Fogged gets picked off as well. Crit's there to really help out. I didn't think that Synderen was going to be able to pull that off. I did not see Crit coming in, but when you have 2 supports able to pick off an Alchemist and an IO, that tells a lot of how this game is going for EG. I mean, it's not good. You already have so much mobility on Life, too. You have the Force Staff on the Shadow Demon, the Blink Dagger on the Rubik, and then Synderen with the Invisibility. So the fight happens before EG is even aware that it happens, and that gets a lot of pressure off of Link. He is no longer in the heat, and now, once again, Batrider, that's Universe, he goes in for Synderen, but again, he's alone. He's trying to provide space, but ends up just feeding himself, and you cannot have this keep happening. You've got to turtle up. You've got to defend. You cannot give any more kills to Live as they are already so far ahead. And I have to check out the gold graphs. 10k gold advantage in the way of Live. XP graphs about the same, 10k as well. I honestly expected a much bigger difference, but I would have to assume that Alchemist is providing a lot of that gold graph just on him alone. I'm hearing a lot of static. Is it on your end or my end?
It's probably Barry. I don't imagine anyone else. It could be. Unless it's a game paused. Oh, no, it's a game
okay.
paused. Yep, it's a rocket. There, he's got it.
Barry tips. Thanks, Barry.
Yep. And here I was about to blame Barry when he's letting it on the down low. Oh well. I know, I'm a jerk. Anyways, this is game 2, guys, of EG versus Life. EG obviously taking game 1 with a little notch up there. Waiting to see on the result of this one. Coming down, winner will advance. This is single elimination cup format, so this is a very pivotal moment for Life looking to advance here. There are indeed 5 cups once a week. We will be going ahead and doing the single elimination brackets.
In this,
now, you don't want to go out in cup number 1.
Yeah, and already DD is out. Fnatic moves on to round 2. They did take the win there, but DD is out for this week's cup, so that $1,000 is not available to them anymore.
If you move on to at least the second round, you have an opportunity at battling for points. Points are what gets you into the final round. So as a result, number 1 through 4 slot will be playing through. So I guess it's double elimination in some regards. But now Crit able to get a lift on MSS. MSS taken out before anything can happen. Jo throwing out a concoction way downtown on Cinder, and not going to matter. Fog going to go down. Raise up from Link. Link now turning his attention. Huge turn from Crit. Steals the concoction, throws it back into Jo's face, and Jo is now stunned out. Throwing up another concoction of his own. Recognizes that Link has the BKB down, but instead elects to go on Ace. Fear trying to do what he can. Jo in trouble, out on his own. Able to walk away. Invis, MSS back into the fight. Throws up the barb armor. Link now in trouble. Has the Aegis if he needs it. Look at the health regen. He's tanking a tower right now and just blitzing down the entire other squad. Fear goes down, only 2 down now for EG, but Haymakers coming out of the Shadow Fiend in terms of auto attacks, 200 per, and he's able to just fully heal himself just when it looked like he might have to expend the Aegis if they direct their attention towards him. He actually just heals himself through, and there's nothing they can do to shut him down. BKB back up in 15. Pressure still getting applied. Sin able to stun out Fogged and the Alchemist due to that acid spray being on the floor. Really good response from him. Now Link, still not the target of the stun. Goes on Fade. I don't know why Jo is not willing to go down on Link. And look at Link just fully heal up yet again. Just activate Satanic and he's full up.
How do you deal with Link? Link is has snowballed so much. We're only 25 minutes into this game, and look at him. Look at his net worth, 15,000, 6K above anybody, and the next highest is his own. He is. This is just absolutely insane. They cannot deal with him. He can maybe even just 1 versus 5 all of EG at this point, and now EG finally throws a stun onto Link. Realizes that the BKB is available though. The rest of the heroes come in. They're going to try and have a go, but the Aegis is still up on Link. The IO balls are going to go ahead and pop on everybody, but Jo, he's just getting blitzed out here. Complete disable on top of him despite Fog keeping him alive. And now MSS, he goes in with the hookshot, has Cogs. Link is trapped in, but it doesn't matter. The ultimate is expended from Link, and now Jo goes down, Fogged out of the fight. This has got to be GG. The life punchback comes down. They force a game, another game, a 3rd game out of EG.
Link is just out of control. Clockwork stuffed himself in his own death box, and now Jo gonna turn and stun Link yet again. The counter stun this time yet again from Crit, who's been playing out of his flippin' mind this game. So refreshing to see a Rubik just make stuff happen. And while there wasn't much to steal early on, there's so much later to steal. I mean, between the concoction, the hook shot, the lasso, he's had just a phenomenal game, and GG is called. We're going to game 3, guys. Life versus EG. Coming up shortly.